my breeches with delight.
Hello.
She did it.
She did it.
I did it. I didn't screw up.
Good job, Shleby.
Woohoo. How is everybody today? It's a great afternoon.
It's Shleby in the producer chair.
Big girl
Jen's over
moves.
here on the
gonna
ones and
paint.
twos.
Ooh,
Jen's
maybe.
painting.
Maybe.
Sunshine Grenadier, thank you for the subscribe.
All right.
Came till I said, is it just me or does the show look better than usual?
Damn it. I knew it. I was hoping that wasn't going to get talked about until much later.
Ghost Hunter, sorry, you weren't first.
Yeah.
You keep saying first after other people have already said things.
It's alright. We only mildly judge you. Paint Liquor said, Jen, paint day, best day. Jen, what are you painting today?
Even
Hi.
Creepy showed up. What?
Yeah. Creepy, this is Shelby. Shelby, Creepy.
Hello.
Creepy is a local
Oh.
who doesn't come in and see us ever.
Careful. He's a coppa now.
Yeah,
He's one of the
a
coppas.
sheriff deputy.
So if you're on the run, Shelby, don't let him know that.
The secret is to always be on the run.
Not a secret anymore. Just going to say that.
I
Throw
didn't
that
say it
out
was
there.
my secret. I just said it was a secret.
What
Oh.
did you use as a palette when you painted the other day?
Huh?
Gabe let me use his.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. He set me up real nice and
There
good.
was no palette here.
You have one now?
Well, I have mine.
Oh, okay.
Or I have maybe yours, but I feel like this
I
one
think
was-
I've used both of these.
Yeah.
Gabe is on his way
For what?
with a palette.
Oh, no, I have
You got one? Okay, great.
He was so ready
The
though.
stream was delayed. Oh, come on.
he was there.
I appreciate the enthusiasm.
Ghost Hunter said ballerina plus Lord Commander plus Shleby equals better looking for sure.
Yeah, the ballerina. Ballerina Hulk.
Tim, what's happening? Hope everybody is getting prepped to have the best end of your weekend you possibly can. This is the last Friday of 2023, folks. Tomorrow will be the last Saturday. Then, the last day.
Oh. Are we doing a New Year's Eve stream?
No, I don't think so.
So this is last stream of
This may be the
2023.
last stream.
Last stream.
wow.
I don't like to commit to special holiday stuff when I don't have a bigger group guiding me. Because I guarantee I'll cop out at the last minute. I gotta work all weekend.
Ooh, it sounds empty.
Creepy said, Jen, I would show up, but I'm still in the academy.
Yeah, I know. You're busy. That's fine. Whatever.
Blah,
Time
blah,
for
blah.
us. Oh.
Dreams and goals.
I know what I forgot.
What?
My glasses. I'll be right back.
Jen's got to be
You
able
don't
to
have an
see.
extra pair, do you?
Me? No.
No.
I don't think so. They'd probably be broken.
I'll be back.
Paint Liquor said, going to finish my Alariel this weekend. I can't wait.
Nice. That's a
What,
that's a
yeah, what is
big
that?
elf goddess on a beetle.
Awesome. What kind of beetle are we talking?
Like a big horned beetle.
That sounds awesome.
Alariel the Ever Queen or something like that.
Mm.
It's a heck of a model. It really is kind of like this little lady on top of this enormous beetle.
That's so cool, though. Does anybody have any New Year's goals for their hobbying?
Oh God, resolutions? Hobby
No. I
resolutions?
don't like resolutions. I feel like they're... I don't know. I'm asking because I'm curious, but resolutions are always...
Daunting.
Yeah, and they never...
It's a little daunting.
They
when you put
never
it that way.
actually get done, so... Clear the pile of shame.
Get Gabe to
One.
paint more, Sushi. I'm with you, Chris. We can't let him keep whining about how busy he is. I got so much to do.
Yeah, some
Today
sort of
he was
job.
whining at lunch about it. Oh, I just paint to paint fast. And we got to shame him into it, Chris. You ready? Starts today.
Jade
We're not
said
waiting
more
on
bike
January
rides.
1st.
Jade wants to bike more painting. Ghost Hunter wants to learn how to use his new airbrush and to paint
Yeah.
more.
Ooh.
Going?
Are
Good
these
plan.
New Year's resolutions?
Yeah, specifically in hobbying.
Hobby
Resolutions.
resolutions.
What's your goal? What do you want to learn to do?
Mm.
What's your first 2024 hobby goal?
Where am I?
Jen's is to paint more than twice.
I was just gonna say that, like literally those words.
Paint more than 2 times. You can knock that out in week 1 and then not have to do anything for the rest
Yeah.
of the year. That's pretty good. That's a good resolution, actually. I like the simple ones.
I just saw something about how like most people break their resolution within the first like 2 weeks.
You can get yours finished.
But if you meet your resolution or you make your resolution in the first week, then it doesn't matter.
You can be like triumphant. You'd be like, quitter.
Paint Liquor said blending and smoothness. Just
Blending
decided.
and smoothness.
Mhm.
Always a good one to practice.
2023 was the NMM.
And how'd you fare in that? How do you feel about your non-metallics?
Change everything around for the right-handed people.
Stonewall asked, every time I try build up highlights and then put a color over it with a tinted glaze medium, it takes the paint off underneath. What am I doing wrong?
It makes the what?
It takes the paint off underneath.
Takes the paint off?
Mm-hmm.
The only reason you'll remove paint underneath is applying it too
Not
quickly.
dry, yeah.
The paint, you put too much paint on one layer, then you attack it with wet paint over the top of it before it's cured. You have to make sure that each layer is cured before you go put paint on top of it, especially when you're doing paint that is more watery, more thinned down. So you just have to be careful with that. So give it some time. Don't focus on one area at a time, right? Like you paint a base coat and then you want to do the highlight on that base coat. Go paint something else first. Let that base coat get really nice and dry. And then do not overload it when you go to glaze a highlight in if that's what you're doing. You don't need to have it be super, super wet. You'll notice that I have paint on my thumb all the time. Whenever I go get a lot of paint on my brush, a lot of times I come over here and take, 80%, 90% of the paint off of the brush first. So that when you're glazing, you're really only touching the model. It's not creating droplets of water. It's creating a nice sheet that stays where you put it. Because if you put too much water on there, even a cured layer can start to lift. Got to be very delicate with it. You may have a heavy hand when you paint, so you're pressing really hard. When glazing, you need to lighten your brush stroke up so that you're not putting a lot of pressure on the model. Remember, a brush is an agitator too, right? If you press hard enough, it'll clean your bathtub. So be careful with that kind of stuff. But there's nothing inherent to the glaze wash medium or that would cause there to be any reaction with your base layer. It's generally just moving too quick. Happens to me. It happened on Hulk. When we first did Hulk, I put all the base layers down and I was using the airbrush and I was spraying base layers and stuff. And with the airbrush, your layers are so thin that you have to make sure it gets plenty of time to dry, because I put the base layers down with the airbrush and then I went over it with that mahogany wash and I just doused the model with paint. And it was so wet that it started to tear the airbrush layers. And so I had to stop real quick and be very gentle with the brush so that I wasn't tearing the paint. So if you notice it isn't a problem. You can work around it. But the biggest workaround is to let the paint dry. When we live stream, sometimes we're so worried about getting to the next part because we're, on camera. It's happening right now. And so, we go from base layer to highlight or whatever, wet blending to glazing, and all of a sudden you've moved too fast and your paint hasn't had time to set up, and that'll throw you off for sure. So just be a little more patient is generally the answer.
Gabe said he wants to get Christopher to stop gluing rocks to his models.
I think he's done that. I don't know that's too easy, Gabe.
He also said he wants to clean a bathtub with an X10.
Well, that'll take all year, so that's a good one. I will start doing the over-under on how long it takes you to give up.
I would guess like 20 minutes.
Yeah. I don't even know that I'd go 20 minutes.
Game Delay is entering a painting contest in January.
Awesome.
Fun.
Where at? You coming to LVO? Or just local to you?
Game Delay is Utah, so LVO wouldn't be too far.
Had somebody in Sam Lenz's chat talk about how they were entering their first competition at LVO. I was stoked about that too.
Hmm.
He said California. 3D Studio Online Sculptors.
Gotcha. An online one.
Avian wants to attempt to work with more tutorials.
Wants what?
Work with more tutorials.
Oh, okay.
Perhaps post on Discord.
Yeah.
Post up on Discord.
I don't know that I have thought about any hobby-oriented things I need to get done. What would be a good goal for me to set, chat?
Where is this camera that I keep putting my head straight in it?
It's over
It's
your
right there.
left shoulder.
You can zoom in to help with that too, right? Grab this puck. You can zoom in to where you can get closer to the model with it not being in screen because the screen is mostly the model. I think if you turn it counterclockwise. All right, yeah. Now you can lean in and it won't be in. You'll have to like get right over the model for it to block it out.
Okay.
But you also can't move around as much.
Finish every box set that you have, T. Schmidt.
Is he telling me that?
That is
Not a chance.
ambitious. No, that's his plan.
That's silly person talk.
That's T. Schmidt's plan.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's probably still silly person talk.
Sounds like a big undertaking.
T. Schmidt works for one of our retailers.
FLGS partners.
So he probably has more stuff than we do.
Paint Liquor said you should do plaid clothes.
Plaid what?
Plaid clothes. As your New Year's resolution.
Stonewall says that did the trick. What did the trick?
They were the one that asked about
The glazing?
yes.
That's awesome. That was a very quick turnaround for positive results. I like it.
It was.
Yeah, it's pretty easy to kind of guesstimate the issues when glazing, and most of it's overloading with material. Too wet, too much paint. Get rid of most of the paint, model will like you much better. Oh, that's right. Megalodon sent us like all the stuff, so that is true. So we do have kind of too much stuff.
Could knock out that.
We've got lots.
There's no way for it to all get painted around here. We have to divvy it up. Like everybody here, all 18 people have to paint 20 models apiece per week for the entirety of the year in order to get rid of everything we have here. You ready, Shelby? That means you.
Oh man.
20 times 52 ain't that much. Don't think about it.
I'm gonna make sure that I have to spend the whole year on night bells then. If that's what I have to sign up for.
Is that your resolution, is finish night bells?
That's one of them. I want to get into some new hobbies. Like, I thought about doing wood carving, which is a different hobby, but
You know what I want
hobby
to do
realm.
is wood burning.
Oh, that's a lot
very
of fun.
cool. Mm-hmm.
I support getting a wood burning set.
Yeah?
Yeah,
Well, let's do it.
we can do some really cool stuff. I used to do that.
Awesome.
it was one of the things that I took away from shop class and stuff
Mm-hmm.
back in junior high and high school, that I actually kept the tools until my wood burner burned out. It's a coil heater thing, and I'm like a glorified or less glorified soldering iron, and the heat part of it just burned out. So I never bought another one. But for years, I see people do really cool stuff. And it was one of the times where I had the most fun doing 2D art, like drawing,
Mm-hmm.
because doing it that way was just so fun. It was like working with a new form of charcoal,
Yeah.
because you can shade with it instantly by allowing it to heat the wood more. It was a lot of fun.
I saw this really cool board. I think that was like a serving platter kind of thing,
Uh-huh.
and they made like a mandala pattern
Oh, cool.
on it. It was really, really neat with just using different attachments on the wood burning. That looks fun.
Mhm. Jade said,
Careful, Jen's gonna be at like the local Tempe art show selling stuff next year. She'll be slinging her wares.
Jade said that Chuck heard back from the interview and they like him.
Ooh,
They have 2 other people to interview, but he should hear back next week.
awesome,
This is great news.
exciting.
So Chuck, help me understand here, and you don't have to if you don't want to. But I thought you worked with family.
I don't know if
I
Chuck
think they
is in
work
here,
with
but
a
Jade is
family.
here.
I don't know that it's their family.
Oh, I thought it was your family. Are you trying to stay in the same industry, machining, or you don't do the machining, you just do the management side of it? Because some of the things you were listing, I was like, you're a machinist, aren't you? But I don't know that I have all that right.
Game Delay said, my only big painting goal for 2024 is a Lord of the Rings diorama before Adepticon. Only thinking I'll put about 20 minis in it.
Holy mackerel, that's a big
Wow.
undertaking in 3 months.
It is.
A good one. I don't know that I have one. I don't know that any of them would be. No.
I think of something.
What would I think of? I always just say finish an army. That's low hanging fruit.
Mm.
But I never do it, so it seems disingenuous to set that goal when I don't really care about it. I could set a goal of paint my Starfleet stuff, which hopefully shows up when UPS gets here. Hey, Gabe, can you keep an ear out? Go tell Ruben or whoever that when UPS shows up, they should have a box for me.
They usually deliver stuff separately.
I know, and that's what's got me worried, because it was overnighted,
Oh,
and it was supposedly out for delivery, and it hadn't been here, but it said before 9 o'clock tonight,
That's always
so
fun.
that sucks.
Jen, you might need to move your hands a little bit
Oh,
so I
yeah,
can see.
I never know which way. There we go. Okay.
Gabe
Been a long
said,
time.
I know, and then there's
It's
my
hard to get
head
used to
again.
again.
Oh my gosh.
Game Delay said that it's Gen Con, not Adepticon.
Jabe, yes, I want it in my hands ASAP. But that would also be disingenuous to set that as my goal, because you know what I know I'm going to do? Paint all my damn starships.
Then why don't you make that one your goal?
Well, because that's kind of disingenuous if you know you're already going to complete it.
Yeah, I get
That's
that.
like saying, hey, you know, I quit smoking this year, but I didn't tell anybody. So for 2024, I'm going to set my resolution to be quit smoking.
Yeah.
Still not a bad thing.
No, but I
But
get that.
I get what you
It's
mean, though.
yeah.
Like cheater.
Mm.
Cheater. I'm going to abstain from Brussels sprouts.
Ooh, me too.
That way I know I can hit my goal. Screw those demon cabbages.
I don't understand why you hate them so much. I'm team Brussels sprout.
Are you?
I am. If you make them the right way.
That's
Oh,
what
here
everyone
we
says,
go.
but I don't believe it
Oh.
because
Any
I've had
food
them
that
made
has to
many
be-
different ways.
Any food you have to mark it with, if you just have to make them the right way, no.
That's with so many foods though. Like if you make something the wrong way, it's gonna ruin it.
No, but it's a difference in saying that you have to make something the right way, because that leads to the fact, logically, that it means that most people, 9 out of 10, don't know how to make it the right way because everybody hates them.
I don't think that's right.
Whereas you don't find people saying, you know, you'd like pizza if you just made it the right way. That's not a thing that gets said, you know, in general conversation.
Have you had Brussels sprouts made the right way?
Oh my God.
had
My
them-
grandmother
I've had
would've
them at
gotten
a
along really
restaurant.
well. My grandma was like, you just have to have them the way I cook them.
Jason, you have to have however many bites you are old. So that's how many years. However many years you
Oh,
are,
jeez.
you have to take that many bites of Brussels sprouts. We call them no thank you bites.
In 2024?
No, that's just a rule.
That's just the rule. That was the rule in the Fisher house.
It was.
That's rude. And
It makes sense for kids.
We'll take this up with Shannon later.
For the 6-year-old that doesn't want to eat
And
broccoli,
we wonder why
you
so
eat
many
6
kids.
bites of broccoli. That's reasonable.
Yeah.
I'm not eating 51 bites of Brussels sprouts. Sorry. It's not
And-
going to happen.
And we wonder what's wrong with society. It's that you forced them to eat however many years old they were worth of freaking Brussels sprouts, people. You brought this on yourselves.
All right. Sorry, I have to sit, everyone. I'm struggling.
You'll want to move your hands again too. Jade said he's a quality manager now. He was a machinist for 20 plus years before that.
Oh, gotcha.
The
Oh.
company he's at has been family owned for 3 generations.
Oh,
Okay,
gotcha. You just tired of it? Is it one of those complete nepotism places? If you're not part of the family, you'll be stuck.
Zoltan, I see your comment, and I'm a little offended.
What is that?
Older people don't like them.
Older people don't
Older
like them
people don't
because
like
they're a
them.
different breed
Yeah.
compared to 40 years ago.
I don't know if that means the older people are a different breed, or
I think he's trying to say that
the
Brussels sprouts
are a
sucked
different
back
breed.
when we were kids, so we're justified in not liking them. But if you only tried the way we cook them now, that's what I heard.
That's a good point, honestly. I probably wouldn't like Brussels sprouts if I had them boiled.
I've tried them cooked in bacon, like everyone says to do, and I did not like them.
So yeah, I'm not a big fan of foods where you're like, oh yeah, all you have to do is douse it in sauce,
Yeah,
right? Put all this stuff on it to hide the fact that it tastes horrible, and you'll love it.
We're fine. Everybody knows that we don't like Brussels sprouts now. It's just becoming a trolling
It's a meme.
activity.
We are the meme.
Avian asked, how would you do a worsted effect for a suit?
A what?
A worsted? I don't know what that means.
I'd have to read that. Spell it for me?
Worsted. Worsted. Like a,
Oh yeah, there it is.
it's like a weight,
worsted.
like a
Nope.
fabric weight maybe? I don't know.
Yeah, is this a word? You're making stuff up.
Typo.
I only know that word in terms of yarn.
Feel like you're making stuff up. Making words up. Source, what did you ask? After some splodgy disasters with contrast paints on cloaks, you want to try the old school method. Any tips on light brown cape recipe?
And we do get to all questions.
Yeah, you just
Just
gotta
gotta be patient.
be patient.
We're talking.
I mean, light brown cape. Light brown is you start with dark brown, work up to like light umber if you want it to be in kind of that neutrally brown. Our warm brown works really well as a base layer, and you can work that up through light umber mixed with warm brown. I guess it's really pick the brown range you want to work with color-wise, and then start dark and layer to light like we do with everything, right? And then texture, right? Because a big thing with cloaks for me is always how is it sculpted? How does it lay on the model? Because a lot of times that's like, smooth plastic. So maybe it doesn't have any texture to it, but you really want it to be torn fabric or something like that. So then, painting the texture in, starting with your first layer after your base color. So if you started with, say, black, brown, or dark umber, then your next layer, you'd start kind of feeding some texture into it with brush strokes and such to make the illusion of, aged thread or things like that. Fabric in and of itself is an entire lesson in texture painting that you can do. Color is simple, right? We always talk about the fact that color is really just start with, in a case of a dark brown or a mahogany, depending on you want it to be like a little more reddish. Is it leather? Is it cloth? Cloth, a lot more times I will stick with just, dark brown, mid brown, light brown. because cloth doesn't have that same capability for depth in most cases, unless it's made with some sort of weird silk, or something to be different colored shadows aren't necessary all the time. So make a lot of decisions that you can make along the way, but always, start with that dark shadow color and work your way up.
Source says, I have the base set, so dark umber and light umber. What would I highlight with?
Ivory mixed in with the light umber would work really well. You just take a spot of ivory and put it into light umber and lighten that out, and then you start using that as a highlight over the top. Works really great out of the base set. That's fantastic. I use things like ivory or khaki or stuff like that. The when talking about textures, you can see like I used on her cloak. I think it was painted with dark purple first, and then I went through dark camo green, yellow green, and then faded green. And I used my hash marks to give me some texture, like it was, heavier, beat up cloth kind of a feel. So you can do stuff like this and give it more texture, or you can just do smooth blends. They both work equally as well. It just depends on what look you're going for. But then on the browns, do I have anything where I've used that kind of... This leather bag that Santa Claus has is mainly dark umber, light umber, and then a color like ivory. I couldn't promise you what I mixed in. Probably olive flesh is one of my favorites, but it's not in the base set. But ivory is very close, just not quite as yellow. But you mix in ivory with the light umber. So you got dark umber. This is black brown dark umber, and it actually has some greens glazed into it because it's meant to be like skin. It's like a flesh bag. But like dark umber, light umber, and then that mix will give you something like this. And then I've added in all the nicks and texture to it to make it look like, beat up leather along the way. But you could do something like that. And that's the kind of general coloring you'll get.
Would you recommend a wash for the shading?
I don't generally do that. I just start with dark colors and then just don't paint in the shadows anymore. When you go to your, like you were doing with your shirt the other day.
Yeah.
You can describe what you did with your shirt, because you start with a dark color, and then from that dark color, when you paint, like say you go dark umber, and then you want to use light umber next, you might put dark umber on the cape and then mix dark umber, light umber 50-50. And when you paint that over the dark umber, just leave the dark umber in the deepest recesses of the folds, and paint everything else with the mix. And each time you go to a brighter color, you just retreat in so you only see a little bit of the previous color and paint up towards the top of the folds and the highlights. But you could also do dark umber, paint light umber on there, leaving the dark umber showing in the shadows, and then do the mix of light umber and ivory and paint your highlights, and then put a wash over all of it to blend it together, and then go back with that light umber ivory mix to do just a small final highlight on it. Because the wash that you put over it, if you use brown or a mix of brown and black, is going to darken everything, including your highlights. Solitaire, I'm thinking about it. I'd like to have kind of a dirty green, like a muddy green wash. Maybe another type of brown. I use enough magenta wash on flesh that would be a great one, but I don't know that it would sell very well. That would be one that it'd be like, I would use the crap out of it.
So since it's my first producing, I have a little surprise for everybody.
What?
Yes, I do.
She's giving everybody $1 million. You picked the right day to tune in, chat.
I was very excited about this today. Gabe has been celebrating with me a little bit.
Shleby failed to let everybody know that she is actually a Saudi princess.
All you need to do is you just have to, wire a little bit of cash, and then she'll take
Just
care
give
of
her
it.
your bank account.
Don't even worry about it.
Because she's got like $500 million, but it's stuck. It needs you to help go pick it up.
Yeah, exactly. No, I was very inspired yesterday after yesterday's stream. So I went home and I got some supplies and I made this little
A tutu!
this
She made a
little
tutu.
I hate all of you. The things I do for you people, and this is how I get treated.
So Jason, whenever you're ready, I have this tutu ready for Hulk.
I love it.
It's pink and lacy.
Pink lacy tutu. I think that will be perfect for Hulk. It will be a nice addition.
But that was my little,
It's
that's
my
my little
hero.
surprise.
Tutu broke the stream for me.
Damn you,
That's
Shleby.
awesome.
I had
Oh,
to.
The tutu maybe did break the stream.
What do you mean? Oh, it did.
Wait,
Actually,
what?
didn't it?
Ah, Avian gifting some subs for the tutu.
Yay!
Huzzah, huzzah. I'll just throw back my legs and pollute my
Great.
britches with delight.
It was super fun, actually. It was a fun little project.
Hey, Gabe, can you patrol internet usage in the office
Well,
real quick
huzzah,
for me?
huzzah. I'll just throw
Feels
back
like a
my
lot of
legs
people
and
just turn their
pollute my
phones on
britches
for
with
whatever
delight.
reason.
Because no one's watching him out there. He's unsupervised.
They're going rampant.
Well, huzzah, huzzah. I'll just throw back my legs and pollute my britches with delight.
Yeah, we'll see what's going on, chat. We hope it's because somebody
Well, huzzah,
Turned
huzzah.
on,
I'll just throw back my legs and pollute my britches with delight.
internet someplace that I can't blame my
Shaking
nephew.
right
He's
now,
not
he
here.
said, yeah.
Generally, I blame my nephew because he starts like during the stream downloading some
Well,
150
huzzah,
million
huzzah.
gigabyte
I'll
game.
just throw back my legs and
Steam or
pollute my
something.
britches with delight.
Well, I didn't mean to break stream with a tutu.
Well, that serves you right.
It's worth it. Good. It was a good bit.
Phoenix, we have Cox commercial.
Who's your favorite internet hog, and why is it Phil? Phil's not even here today.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, everybody here streams something during the day that it should not interrupt any of our service, but it seems like every now and then it gets overloaded.
Yeah, it's weird. Cause
We're not on any kind of shared neighborhood internet or anything either. It could just be Cox having problems. too.
Yeah.
yeah. Cause I mean, like even when I watch stream, like it doesn't freak out.
A lot of times it'll even itself out, so we just stick with it.
Doesn't matter if Phil is here, the joke must go on.
Frontier? Is that a thing? Not in Phoenix.
We have Cox and Cox.
CenturyLink.
CenturyLink
CenturyLink, but that's not.
and Cox.
Yeah, Gabe said it seems to be an internet thing. Nobody was streaming. Game Delay said we already know it's the glory of the dance that caused the stream
Yep.
to freak out. I
Fucking tutu.
didn't mean to create something so powerful.
Yeah. Magical force. The tutu.
I need y'all to stop.
It's sewn into every stitch, Jason.
I'm gonna need y'all to stop. I'm gonna need y'all to stop. Talk about tutus.
Gabe said I've had a hunch it's not a download issue, it's an upload issue. Which video streaming wouldn't affect as much.
Well, they're not two mutually exclusive things when it comes to. They are when they try to sell you your bandwidth. But if there's a huge load on the system all at once from everybody downloading or streaming or doing whatever, it will affect both.
Jason, what are you doing right now on your...
I am painting dirt, basically.
Hmm.
Rock and all the stuff blowing up from underneath the concrete. I put some of our fine gray basing material down. You can see it in kind of the recesses there. Earlier today, and that's really the focus of today, is to get this base looking good so that Gabe can take some photos, some snazzy photography by the end of stream if possible, so that over the weekend I can use some of this to work on the website. Although I have so much to do this weekend, I don't even know. I got to work on 18 new colors, get all the pigment dialed in for those. That has to happen this weekend, so I don't know the website will happen anyway. I'm trying.
Doing his best. And you have the finishing touch now, so you can...
It's what takes the longest for me, and I think for pretty much everybody. When you get to the final detailing part of a model, you spend, easily the bulk of your time on the model, putting the least bit of paint on the model. Because you have to spend so much time thinking about where it goes, getting it just right.
Ghost Hunter said, is Awkward Banana one of the 18 colors?
Yes. Definitely.
Pick a color.
No, it isn't.
I feel like pale yellow could be an Awkward Banana.
What is?
Pale yellow?
Pale yellow?
Be a
I
good
mean,
one.
you're talking about Wizard's Butt. We thought we'd bring out Wizard's Butt because it's a banana color.
Mm,
No, we won't do that to people that quick.
gotcha.
It needs to be special for a while.
Yes. Well, and how do you even...
How do you what?
Could you even replicate that color?
Yeah, we know what the mix was.
Okay.
But it's not a color I want to spend a bunch of resources for, because the Wizard's Butt colors are other paints mixed together.
Yeah, they're just fun.
Which is not how we make paint.
Yeah.
Right. Had a big long discussion at dinner last night about what sets our paint apart, asked by an industry colleague of mine. And he was like, so, if you can share what really is the difference between Pro Acryl and other colors. And I said, well, most other colors are made, and we talk about on stream, most other colors in our industry are made like house paints are made. They just CMYK mix it together. And while that seems like, oh, that's great, though, because then you know that every paint only has 4 or 5 pigments in it. I'm like, well, that doesn't mean anything, right? It's because they don't have pigments that necessarily make sense for the final version or use of the paint. Because yes, cyan, magenta, yellow, white, and black are the components of just about everything in the world of print. But in the world of print, none of those colors that you make CMYK are meant to mix with anything. They're meant to give you the color you need that would be the mix itself. Make sense? So it's the way they make house paint when you go to Home Depot and they grab a can of base, eggshell base for your bathroom, and you tell them the color name and they hit it on the machine, and the machine goes through the database and picks the CMYK value out of the color you want, from Pantone most likely, and mixes up paint. And you get the color you want. But that color does not mix very well because it may have 80% yellow. And so in our world, if it's 80% yellow, 10% cyan, 5% magenta, 5% white, that gives you a color that is very cool and works very well for the color that it is. But if you were to thin that color down, you would see yellow very, very quickly because it's 80% yellow. Whereas the color itself may not necessarily be yellow, because you do magenta and yellow, you get red. So maybe it's actually a red, But as soon as you start thinning it, it turns yellow.
Yeah.
Because it has 80% of the pigment is yellow, and that's what you start seeing as it spreads it out, which is why a lot of people complain that when they mix their paints, it turns into a muddy color. It's not what they expect in the hobby world. We don't do that. We have 20, not including metallics, I have 28-ish single pigments that we use. And so we mix color, mad scientist style, using the right colors that make the color we want, so that when you thin it out, it's still a version of the color you want. It's not 80% yellow or 30% magenta, you know? So it takes a while. So we can't just release the wizard's butt by the mix. I would have to spend time reverse engineering it, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, they tend Fire Art to turn a lot more into grays and browns because they're mixed CMYK. Some of our competitors have even put out videos of how their paint is made, you know? And we saw one where the company that the paint was being talked about, they showed how they bottle it, and then they went to the factory where it's actually made, which is another company. And in that factory, it had the same machine that Home Depot uses. And it showed the heads spitting out CMYK paint. And it's like, okay.
Yeah.
That's what makes us better, is that we don't do that. We take the high road, or is it the low road? Which is the hard one?
The high road.
Yeah.
We take the high road.
Gotta go uphill.
Yeah, we go uphill.
It's a battle.
We're dumb. Release the wizard's butt, said by Zeus, probably, in that one movie. Jen is painting. Look at that.
Yes.
She's doing Deadpool. Marvel United Deadpool on the... I think the unicorn is like a stuffed animal, right? Is that the idea?
I mean, yeah, it kind
I
of
think
looks
so.
like it.
Well,
I don't know that it
Plushie.
shows the stitching.
But I don't know, because he's a... Yeah, maybe there's a little stitching on the...
It just
No.
looked, because with the tongue hanging out and all
Yeah.
that, it felt like it was
It
more
does
of a
look like
stuffed
there's
animal.
stitching right here.
Yeah.
Like stitching the leg back on.
Yeah. It's fun.
It is fun.
It's like literally one of the best miniatures ever made. It's almost as cool as Percival, but not quite. Not quite.
It's high
Not
praise.
quite, yeah.
Jen is one of the best painters in the building.
That is false.
It takes her a while to get back up to speed because she doesn't paint but like once every 6 months. Seems like something Deadpool would do, ride around on a stuffed animal. Is it farting rainbow? No. I think on the picture
no, it's on a
was.
cloud
Oh, okay, yeah.
that
that's
has
right,
a
that's right.
rainbow coming out of it.
You doing all right?
No.
You back?
Yeah.
You don't have to do this.
No, I want to. That's the thing. I really want to paint.
Jen's
I'm
been
looking
having really
forward
bad
to
back
this.
pains.
Are there more models that came with that one, Jen, or is it just that one?
There's a lady Deadpool
Ooh.
right here, and yeah, there was another one. Like the box.
Division Reg says, I've now realized why you saw people promoting the new Army Painter line. They didn't just do co-branded paint sets. They gave the people jobs. What does that mean?
Ghost Hunter, don't worry. She does have a chair, and it has a back.
Get the Lord Commander stool. Yeah, she's got a bar stool.
Sitting is not good either.
The
But
Hulk, which is why
it's
taking up dancing
both.
is so good for him. The game delay, we don't need your help with that. What are you talking about? Oh, yeah, I don't know, Division Ring. It's just a sponsorship. They don't work for them.
We were talking to Gabe about setting up a little lap desk for the
comfy chairs.
the comfy chairs so Jen can paint.
Not gonna happen.
No.
I'm not gonna have
Not
people
gonna
get
happen.
comfortable while painting. Then they'll never leave. Then they'll never leave. All right. I forgot that there was actually metal on here too. There's this whacked out bent. I love how he hit the ground so hard that it made like the pole with the parking meter turn to almost liquid,
Yeah,
right?
it's all wobbly.
Yeah. It didn't like shatter. It looked like it melted.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Oh, I didn't get the rock that's up on there though.
Game Delay said, "Oh, don't like my commentary. In that case, I think the Hulk also likes Brussels sprouts."
Oh man,
I think he's right.
you had to go there.
Feeling sassy Friday.
You had to go there.
How has everybody's day been? I feel like the day has been pretty good.
It's been a little long, but Fridays I think I look at differently because it's game night, and I know I'm going to be here till like 10 o'clock. And so I feel like the day kind of drags. Sometimes it's because I'm excited to do whatever game night has got going on. And sometimes it's because I'm like, oh, I don't get to go home. Tonight should be fun. We've got one of our ex-coworkers coming.
Fun.
And the guy I went out to dinner with, John, from WizKids, will be here. So we'll have some fun tonight.
Nice.
Storing empty paintballs.
Well,
I miss.
I mean, you know.
Is it Jordan storing empty paint bottles?
Well, I don't know what these paints are because I feel like Jordan has a bag of paint. But
I know that he organized those paints, but I don't know if there is.
If you need something, you can grab mine too. Doesn't matter. I'm literally using grays right now. And browns. I need black browns. I don't take black browns. Between that and Popeye, you get the feeling comics are in the pocket of big vegetables. I love that there's a big veggie. It's Big Pharma and Big Veggie. I want to see him duke it out.
And big undies we talked about with the, you got to buy more underwear more often. It's all propaganda.
Paint Liquor has spent the day disputing with Canadians, aka agreeing to disagree, so it's been fine?
Division Ring, I'm not understanding what you're talking about. It's great if you're getting feedback, but also if I'm going to take Miniac's opinion on his PA line with a grain of salt. What did he say about PA? He just painted with them not too long back and enjoyed them using them.
Are you talking about Miniac or Ninjon?
I think Miniac.
Because Miniac doesn't have a. Are we talking PA line meaning Pro Acryl line? Miniac doesn't have a Pro Acryl line.
He may be talking about like that early review that he did. He's the one that invented the wives' tale about hydrophobic.
Miniac did?
Yeah, that was him.
Have you set him straight?
Oh, yeah. No, we've talked a lot since then. I'm excited to go visit them. February 1st through 3rd, we'll be up in Minneapolis area.
There's no we, right? It's just you?
Well, I always use the inclusive we because it's Monument Hobbies. So, but yes, it's me.
Division Ring said, I mean that army painter getting feedback from people.
I don't know. I mean, you know, every tool has its use, and so you know, certain people gravitate towards certain tools. That we all know that. Army painters making a big push right now. I feel like they have probably gotten hit in the market share over the last couple of years. They sold a big portion of their company, and they're doing the things that they need to do. Good. Miniac needs to get his butt whooped at Battletech. Yep, I'm taking all my Battletech up there, and we're playing Battletech live on stream. He's grumpy old manning it about Battletech. He's like, I don't understand what people see in this. And Evan is everybody's been like, you know, hey, we need to teach him Battletech. So I jumped in, and we've also just wanted to find something that we could do, sit around, talk. We have great conversations whenever we're out and about at shows and such, between him, myself, John. Vince. They've got a really good group in their kind of I don't know, they're not all local because obviously Uncle Adam and Sam are Wisconsin-y side of the thing, but it's all up in the same general area. Vince and John and Scott get together and do stuff, so they got a good painting group up there. A lot of good discussions come out of that group. Ideas tossed around and such. Good peeps.
Division Ring was talking about Ninjon, not Miniac. I meant to say Ninjon. Yeah.
What did he say, John? I thought he said Miniac.
He said Miniac.
Yeah, he meant Ninjon.
Oh.
Fireark
Oh,
asked,
I see what you're saying, Division, yeah.
Yeah, Fireark asked if your ships came in for Star Trek.
They're supposed to be here today. The tracking said today. They said they were out for delivery. They have not gotten here yet, and Jen always worries me because she's like, oh, they always bring UPS earlier in the day. Which is true. So that bums me out because I paid for overnight, which is generally when you don't get it overnight. We'll see what happens.
They might drop it off when they come to pick up.
They do every now and then.
Yeah.
It depends on the class of shipment. A lot of the time. It may not be priority overnight, which should have been here before 10 a.m. It said before 9 p.m.
Mm.
Which, thank God it's game night. Uh-oh. I just heard your brother, though.
Yeah. Okay, what did you just say?
Overnight shipping is a lie. B proxy. Well, I checked on I get that it's after processing. We ship a lot of stuff here, but you check the tracking and it was out for delivery, like on the truck in Phoenix. So that's when I start the timer. But big city delivery, not always what it's crept up to be.
Mm.
We shall see.
Paint Liquor asked, are you doing one of your special scenarios for the stream?
Yeah. Yeah, I won't just sit down and like play bare knuckle brawl with Miniac for Battletech. That would be he would hate me. So Battletech is the miniature, yeah, and I'm gonna get a lot of fire for this. So nobody clip this. Battletech is to miniature wargaming what Brussels sprouts are to food.
Oh.
They're great if you know how to cook them, according to Shleby.
They are.
See? That's what Battletech is. You can't just give people a bag of Brussels sprouts and hope for the best. They're going to hate you. You can't just hand Battletech to somebody and expect them to stay your friend. Because if they just read the rules and play the game, they'll never play the game again. It's a big problem with Battletech. Always has been until Catalyst and everybody else get their head out of their butts and learn how to promote war games. It'll be the same way. Now, it's hard to say that when they just had one of the largest Kickstarters in the history of tabletop wargaming with their Battletech stuff. But there's a lot more people buying Battletech than are playing Battletech. And that's a fact.
The zombie Zach wants to know what you used in the shadows of the green skin.
Dark blue and dark magenta. So you'll see the dark blue, and then you'll see the magenta that hits in between the muscles for that kind of, feeling of blood under the skin that we go for. A lot of it down here on the feet. And all very haphazard kind of placement. Nothing too intense or too much of a struggle to paint. All of this has been done on stream in just the last 2 days. 3 days. I think starting Tuesday, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So starting Tuesday, and those VODs other than today's, I don't know if yesterday's is up yet. But the VODs on the process for this entire skin are up on YouTube. So. Good watches if you have time. I go from black primer to a good level of green skin on day 1. Day 2, I do the highlighting and then base the pants purple. So, and then day 3, I did the final glazing on the skin and some shadow additions and simple things like that. But no advanced techniques, I wouldn't say. None of my stuff that I was doing is anything over the top, and most of it's pretty sloppy, right? If I just jump over to here real quick and do this, you can see the texture I've painted with and see a lot of my brush strokes like there on the underarm, on his left arm, up on the top. I haven't been going for smoothness. I've been going for contrast and texture that makes it seem alive. You know, too smooth on skin and it winds up looking like it's fake, you know? Like it's rendered by AI or Photoshop edits on a real picture and you're like, nobody's skin looks like that. So I like a lot of texture, especially on some big, huge gamma, you know, monster like Hulk. Penny Bomb says Catalyst has done a lot to make BattleTech more approachable. They've made it more available. I don't believe they've done much to make it more approachable. And I'm not saying this to be negative. I love BattleTech and I will support them the whole way. They have done great things to put the brand back out there with marketing dollars, getting it at Barnes & Noble, having it available online, putting it in sets, doing plastic miniatures that are fantastic. There's a lot of pluses. The game is still not very approachable for gamers. Alpha Strike is kind of a mess. The way they produce the rules and the data sheets is unattainable other than for Alpha Strike. So if you want to play classic BattleTech, where do you get data sheets for all your mechs? They don't come in any of the games, right? I mean, they come in like the starter box for a few of them, but where do you get the rest? You know, when you buy a set of mechs in your new Lance, where do you get the tech data sheets for them? So you've just bought product you can't use. So no, it's almost worse to an extent because now they're making such cool stuff you want to have, but a lot of people don't know about all the third-party websites you have to go to, like Mordell and stuff like that. Catalyst really needs to consolidate all that stuff and just make it PDF printable stuff direct from their site all the time, right?
Slavic wants to know what you're doing to get your paint consistency where it is, Jen.
What's that?
Slavic wants to know what you did to get your paint that consistency.
Just a wet brush. That's it. I'm just using a number 4 synthetic. And it's just wet, and I mixed blue, black, and bright neutral, like a little bit of bright neutral gray.
Jade said that she expects photos of Hulk in the tutu to be posted on Discord. She had to leave, so that was her parting words.
I guess if you bring it over here, you don't even know how big it needed to be.
Yeah, I made it adjustable because I knew.
Oh my god!
I knew that it needed.
You had a plan.
I did.
You put a lot into this.
I wasn't gonna like come in and measure it and do all that because then you would know. So I just decided to make it adjustable.
She knows what she's doing.
Yeah, it's in my first rodeo.
Listen to this. Listen to this nonsense.
Gabe's gonna take some pro photos of it.
Division Ring, what do you say? Catalyst itself is definitely the worst part of Catalyst products. Yeah, buying anything from them is entirely that's what I'm saying is that the game, the box sets are great. The things they've done, I applaud them. Don't get me wrong. But when you're doing something at that big of a level, there needs to be a better plan, because the way to play BattleTech needs more information than what they deliver you in any of the games. And they have all these books that they don't tell you anything about on their website. You don't know what you're buying. A lot of them are done in sequence, that it's necessary to have this one before you buy this one, and they don't tell you any of that. So you get a lot of people, I know this, I meet these people, I talk to these people, and they get the book, and they're like, I don't know what to do with this campaign book. I'm like, you shouldn't even have that. Why did you buy that? You will literally never use anything in there, you know? And they just don't do a good job of educating you about anything BattleTech. They have a lot of neat stuff, and the miniatures being the core component of that. And the Alpha Strike thing, like I said, you buy the Alpha Strike box, and when you buy a lance of miniatures, you get everything you need to do to play them in Alpha Strike. So it seems like their focus is trying to get Alpha Strike to be the main property that really drives BattleTech. The problem is it's not a great game, right? Playability-wise. It dumbs it down and takes everything that is BattleTech away from BattleTech and makes it a game that I don't know that it would appeal to people, because it loses all of the flavor. So one of the things I think that you have to do with games is really introduce people to what's going to hold them in, emotionally speaking. And if you're just expecting them to like the miniatures, that's not going to hold people, because there's a lot of great games with great miniatures that have died, right? So I think you have to get them into something like the classic BattleTech and the campaigns and the scenarios and the things that are a lot more fun to play, and really get them invested in their mech and the strategy and all that, as opposed to just, you know, running around with a mech that dies that has a damage thing of 7 damage, and when it takes 7 damage it dies, you know, that's 40k, you know. And so I worry about that. I don't think that is definitely not what kept BattleTech alive for so long, so that they could get that property and turn it into what it is. There's a whole world of people that have wanted BattleTech to be available and introduce new people to it for years and decades, right? It's one of the oldest tabletop war games out there. And so they're just missing some low-hanging fruit. Now, again, call me an idiot, because I am, because they just did an $8 million Kickstarter. So what do I know? You're in Reading, PA again? Game Delay says it has to feel good, Jason, knowing the company is in good hands in the future, or at least it will be once Shleby takes it from you. it's Shleby Hobbies.
Shleby Hobbies. I'm not taking
that would be a real funny, like, April Fools, right? People come to Monument and it's actually Shelby Hobbies for a day with just your face, you know.
My Discord photo.
And it's like crocheting tools. Tutus on Hulk.
Yeah. Yeah, Slavic
Division Ring says, wait a minute, no skulls, spikes, or tactical rocks. Is it really a miniature war game? I mean, now you're talking about why I love it, right? I love mechs. I love it all. And I do agree that the base game is way too crunchy, you know. I'm going even further down that horrible line, going back into Starfleet Battles and the Starfleet games, because they turn Starfleet Battles into, you know, do your tax return every round. So it's horrible. That big book, I started reading and I got like 10 pages in and I was literally falling asleep. I was like, this is rough. This is really rough.
I feel like that's the main thing that turns me away from tabletop gaming, is like having to read the book and like read through all the rules. Yeah.
Can't.
Like I think it sounds really fun, like actually playing it, but I think it's more just
these are games that are an
knowledge.
investment that are very different from games that people think about when playing tabletop games.
Yeah.
Because when you say tabletop games, people think Risk, or even nowadays Twilight Imperium, these big, deep Euro games and things like that, where you have to really know the rules and they're very in-depth and you can play for 10 hours. But when you're done, you can put the box on the shelf and forget all about Twilight Imperium. And then when you come back to play Twilight Imperium next time, it doesn't take you long to get back into the swing of it, because the rules don't change. It's always the same. You just pick a new faction, new race you want to play, and maybe they operate a little different, but you know the core, and reading their cards and the thing laid out in front of you, you can start playing again and play for 10 hours and have fun. So even the most in-depth tabletop games don't require this investment, whereas especially we use Warhammer 40K as kind of the whipping boy on this one, because it's ever-changing. Mm-hmm. You know, the commercial aspect of having one game be your main source of revenue is very difficult for a company, if you can imagine, because that one game has to be constantly evolving to keep generating income to pay your people and your profit. And so you have to constantly update rules, bring out new things, create new models, da 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 da. But of course, what that does is now you have to pay attention.
Right.
Because if you show up 6 months from now for your next game of Warhammer and you lay it out and people go, oh, you didn't get the update?
Right.
You can't play that way anymore.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden you're like, what are you talking about?
Right.
You know, it changes how you can are allowed to interact with the game in some cases, depending on your friend group that you're playing with and stuff like that. There's tons of people out there that don't care.
Yeah.
There's tons of people out there still playing 4th edition 40K. They get together with their friends and roll dice the way the old book said, because they're still stuck in that, and that's fun for them, and that's great. You can do whatever you want, right? Nobody's forcing you.
Yeah.
But if you want to participate in the social aspect of it with random guy number 142 and throw dice, you have to pay attention. And that's a lot.
Yeah.
You know? Jen, for years, sitting on stream and painting or producing and doing all that, just hears us talk. And all she has to know is that, I'm not interested.
Yeah.
Because, you have to know all the words and you have to know how it goes and all that stuff. So.
Yeah.
You'd play Guild Ball again in a heartbeat. That was a shame, the whole Guild Ball thing. I only played it a couple of times, and I'm not a big football, soccer fan. So for me, the sports games are a little rougher for me to get my head around. I just don't care. But the models I really liked. I had wished they weren't metal.
Hey, somebody likes us.
But they had some neat models, and we painted some on stream. I thought they were cool. I thought the idea of the way they put the teams to the Brewers Guild and all that stuff, I thought it was really cool backstory. Read some of that, some fun stuff. The mercenaries they had, like the one guy that was from the gangs of New York. They had some caricature type people in there that were really fun. He was like a butcher. So they had some really neat stuff that was fun, but I just wasn't intrigued by the game. But the couple times I played it, I was like, oh, wow, this is a really cool combo-y type game. But I think they did it in a way where they tried to create this league and tournament play, and it was all about the tournament play, and I think it killed itself because of that. Somebody tell me if I'm wrong, but that's everybody that I've talked to has said, they focused too much on the competitive play nature of it and forgot they had a game that was just fun to play. And so they kind of created their own end for that one. Farrick says, same thing on D&D. What you don't have, the new book, new classes, spell lists. Oh, okay. See, I've been so far out of D&D for so long. When I was D&D at age 10 or whatever, it was you had the player's handbook and you were good. Somebody else had the monster manual and the dungeon master's guide, and you had the player's handbook amongst your group. You needed 3 books and some graph paper, and D&D was hilariously fun. But there were only like a few classes. There were only a few races, You'd show people that 1st edition, 2nd edition, and they'd be like, boring. Overlord says Mythic Americas and Bushido Risen Sun. Bushido is amazing. Mythic Americas has got some amazing stuff. I really like what we've been talking with those guys. They have some really amazing concepts in their game. I love all of the Aztec, Quetzalcoatl kind of stuff is great. There's a ton of mythology in the Americas that is fantastic low-hanging fruit that for some reason nobody wants to commit to making into factions for warfare.
Like what?
Well, I mean, think about it. Like all of the ancient, indigenous peoples stuff, all of the type of, gods that they had. Not really gods, but spirits of the wind and all of that. And then the Aztecs and the Mayans and the Central and South American, with lots of snake and serpent-oriented things and, their versions of gods and temples and stuff. So Dark Age had a faction that we painted up that was, I don't remember what they're called, the Kukulkani, which must be a word that means something. But they were basically the story was that the Aztecs went to space. That's why we don't know what happened to them. Like the Aztec race, just at the end of their calendar or whatever, their calendar stops and they were gone.
Yeah.
And just they got taken away into space as a warrior tribe, and they all wound up on this planet out in the middle of nowhere. They had like big walking pyramids and stuff. It was really fun. Solitaire says you do only need 3 books for D&D still. Okay, that's good. Oh, okay. So the only time you really need the supplements is if you're on a campaign that you join and they're like, okay, we're using these upgrades. I mean, that makes sense, yeah. You're a huge Heroescape fan? Heroescape. What is Heroescape? Retro Silverback. Shleby got a promotion. Jen wanted to paint. So Jen's painting.
She did.
I saw that game delay. Yep, I saw that. Using the 1-page rules. Archvillain and Titanforge, right? For both the fantasy and the sci-fi ends of it. Interesting. Ghost Hunter says one-page rules is really trying to convince you to buy a 3D printer. Slovak, yeah, I mean, yeah, it seems right. Chin painting, it's like seeing a unicorn. I mean, well, she is.
Yeah.
I mean, she is. Dork Depot, what's going on? I'm gonna steal the mouse from me for a minute, Shelby, and make sure I didn't miss anything up here.
Okay. Jen, are you gonna make the unicorn a bunch of like bright, fun colors, and then just have Deadpool be like?
Yeah, the mane and the tail are gonna be like crazy bright colors.
I'm so
And then
excited
it's
to
got
see
a little
it.
rainbow on the cloud too.
It's gonna look so fun.
Division Ring says the idea of I like wargaming but not all the rules and admin makes you always wonder why Moonbreaker isn't more popular. There's we've talked about it for like a long time with regards to gaming in general, and I think that wargaming is really where this is the most poignant, because your board game on the shelf, right, doesn't have to be something that you think about until you pull it down off the shelf. So it doesn't have to have a story that involves you. You want to play Monopoly with your family and your friends or whatever, you don't have to ever think about Monopoly until you take the box down, open it up, play the game. And as soon as you put all the stuff back away, put it back in the box and put it back on the shelf, Monopoly stops existing. So you don't care. It can still be a fun game. When you're talking about people, you can say, hey, I want to go play this game, this board game that we've all loved forever, whether, Uno or whatever the heck, right? Everybody has like family game night.
Yeah. You
can pull down a game that everybody loves. Oh, we haven't played that in forever, right? That's kind of the energy that board games create. They're one and done from a publisher level almost. And they don't have to have an emotional attachment other than the memory of how you felt when you played them, right? So if you played a game and you had fun with your friends while you played it, that's the emotional attachment to that game. And so in the board game world, that's what they're trying to capture. That's their lightning in the bottle. How do I make a game that has enough of the things that people dig that when they sit down and play my rule set, they have a lot of fun, that when they put it away and the next time they think about game night, they think about playing my game, or they hear about it and somebody else goes and buys it. That's that whole world of game development, which is the bulk of game development in the world revolves around that. Video games and board games tend to have the same thing. You don't have to have an emotional attachment to your video game except for the feeling that you get when playing it. Some go beyond that. Some have stories, whatever. Baldur's Gate 3 got a lot of awards this year because it's that RPG, puts you in it, makes you feel about the game, not just your time playing it, but the story and the world, and that's great. But that evolves into what tabletop war games are, where you see so many rule sets that are what you think people are asking for. Like if I say I don't want to play a crunchy game, I want a skirmish game, not very miniatures, it doesn't want to be very crunchy, it just needs to be down and dirty, let's play, have fun. The problem is you make that game and you don't have a world that intrigues people, it won't be successful. We've seen it a million times, right? Even companies like Games Workshop that have tried to make that game based around worlds that are successful, it's still not successful. I will never say that Necromunda is a successful game. It's not, right? It's a successful idea because people love the idea of Necromunda. Nobody plays Necromunda, right? Very few people do. If you play Necromunda, you're among the few that play Necromunda on a consistent basis. There are groups that play it religiously, right? But it's not 40K. But it should be, right? Like when you look at it, Necromunda should be bigger than 40K because in its origin, it wasn't quite as complicated as it is now. It's way crunchy now. But you think about what the rules should be, but it doesn't have a tie-in. It doesn't make you feel the same way about your army. It doesn't make you spend the time painting and building and all that outside of it because it just doesn't have enough models and stuff. So. Kill Team is amazing. Is the parking meter still going to have time on it, or is it going to be expired? It's one of the old dial ones, so we could have time on it. Right? It has a lens, which would... Well, I guess all of them do that now. They replace the inside guts with just a digital window, but I'll do it with a dial, like an arrow.
Solitaire said it needs to have coins on the floor.
Coins on the floor?
Yeah.
For the
money in the meter. Just like
They get knocked
scattered
out.
everywhere.
Yeah, I don't see anything like that.
Hmm.
That would have been a little fiddly.
Yes.
For some reason, we did get a manhole cover. Random. Just a random manhole cover out of nowhere. Oh boy, that's a tough one. I think we'll do it kind of like that bluish gray metal. That, I don't know. Usually the parking meters, or what are they? They're kind of like either a green or a...
I feel like I see them more like a bluish.
Bluish gray, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, like a gunmetal almost.
Yeah. Some of them have like I guess some of them are green on the top, but
he's Hulk, so he's already green, so I don't want to do
Yeah.
more green if I can avoid it. Parking meter immersion. Yeah, like a dark grayish kind of color. It's gonna
Yeah.
be boring considering there's all this concrete. So I was thinking green, right? But I could do like a yellow on it, you know?
well, and even the dial, you could do some color just for like a little.
Could it be red? Are there like emergency parking meters?
Maybe.
It can be whatever we want, chat, but
Yeah.
there are no rules.
He's
Yeah.
not real, so you can do whatever you want.
Hey, you shush over there with your "it's not real." This is real. This is important stuff here.
Chuck
Just
said
like
there's
that box
school
of
bus yellow.
chimichangas that,
School bus yellow.
School bus yellow in Chuckstown.
like all along the street, they're all school bus yellow. I could do that. Beat up yellow would be good.
Yeah. Lumberjack Tim said the dial is white with red where you need to put more change in. And then Ghost Hunter said hot pink parking meter.
Of course.
So
Of course,
you could do
did.
that.
And
Or plaid.
Nobody said plaid yet.
Yes.
Yeah, we didn't say
Horse
plaid.
paws.
Of course, someone said plaid.
What if I painted this plaid?
Division Ring said if you want the parking meter to be green, you can just repaint Hulk to be blue.
I don't need that kind of negativity in my life.
The tutu works either way, so.
The tutu works either way. Dang it. I try to remember, because I believe there was a time in my life where I liked chat. I think. I keep telling myself that, at least, to cope with all of this. That's my copium.
Death Wyvern, thank you for the follow. Ooh, Solitaire said it needs graffiti on it. I don't know if you'd be able to do that.
You know, you can do like fat cat graffiti, just like a really quick beep.
Nah, that's true.
But yeah, you're not going to get anything of note on there other than like a couple of initials from a big fat paint pen.
Yeah.
Jason like chat before Ballerina Hulk? I don't know. He gave up on you guys but long before.
Yeah, I think he's on a downward slant for sure.
On a downward slant. Damn.
Somebody likes us.
They're outing me here, folks. I think that I probably told chat that they were good people in the last month, so this is going to hurt their feelings worse than you might have intended.
Fireark said you like chat on the first day for the first 15 minutes.
Yeah, something like that. That seems better.
Yeah.
Are there enough colors of Hulk to make a Power Ranger squad? There was gray, red, and green that I know of. There have been various shades of green, so I don't know. If there was a Hulk Power Ranger, what would their robot animals be? Whatever's the angriest. Or like a pug.
Yeah. A chihuahua.
No, because Chihuahuas are angry little bastards.
That's true.
It'd have to be like a cute little pug that's just like always like little
Yeah.
curly tailed,
Yeah.
trying to wag
Yeah.
but can't.
Or a Pomeranian, something fluffy and crazy.
Treebeard's got my back. Game Delay says, quick internet search shows mostly grays, but also green, blue, and red. I think red is my best choice.
Yeah, because they're complementary to green.
Yeah, because it's the only chance I really have to put any more red. We got the tongue with the burgundies in there, but I think that a red, almost like it was in an emergency parking zone
Yeah.
kind of a thing. So I think red, and then I'll do the coin slot back in the blue steel of the post, and the coin slot, and then the thing down here, which I don't know what that is. Right, and then we'll do red around the casing and call it a day. I think that works. I like it.
Yeah, I think the red pop of color will look good. As a professional,
what you're voting for?
that's my opinion.
That's what you're voting for?
Yeah.
As a professional over there?
Professional
Yeah.
opinion.
All right, cool.
As a professional painter.
Okay.
Yeah.
I trust you.
Thank you.
She's like, thank you. I don't know anything about Power Rangers, so I'm going to bum everybody out. That's not a thing that comes from my day.
I don't either. I didn't grow up watching it.
I know nothing about it other than, like, people are either tremendously impressed by it or hate it with a passion. I don't know anything about it. Everybody says that, oh my god, the Pink Ranger was so cute.
How do you know?
Huh?
How do you know?
I mean, I hang out in nerd arenas where people talk about this stuff.
Not you. How do they know the Pink Ranger is cute?
Oh, they all had, like, out of their shoot times,
Oh.
I think.
They had to have. Because then you're just basing it off the color. Was the pink one even a girl?
I don't know.
I think so.
Okay.
One of them was. One or
Yeah.
two of them were.
You need that on a shirt. As a professional.
In my opinion.
I feel like I get Power Rangers and Teletubbies mixed up. That pisses people off.
Oh,
How do you do
Same
that?
thing.
I mean, colored,
Colored, crazy,
silly
made up
crap
things.
on TV.
Yeah, but Teletubbies is like next level unhinged.
Next level
Teletubbies
unhinged.
is for like infants.
Yeah.
So Teletubbies, okay, so I don't know anything about them. Teletubbies, though, was intended to be just a very, like, it's a kid's thing, right?
Yes, like little
Like
kids.
Blue's Clues or something. It's
Yeah.
not intended to be psychotic, is it?
Well,
no, but
stuff for the
It's
little
still
kids
just
like that is
weird.
psychotic, though.
there's a British show that me and my brothers used to watch. It was called Booba. And it's like these little, I don't even know how to describe it. They're like star-shaped little like fuzzy guys that fly around the air and make weird sounds. And it was, looking back, like I'll watch a YouTube video of it and it's just the weirdest thing ever.
Well, I know a lot of that was just adults that should have had supervision behind bars making content for children.
Yeah.
You don't think that's true? I feel like at one point in time that's exactly what it became. Like Teletubbies. Come on.
Ghost Hunter said, I trust Shleby with miniature painting more than her brush checking based on all of my left-handed brushes.
Uh-oh.
You just got called out, Shelby.
I have not come across any left-handed brushes. So, I don't know where you're getting them.
So that's on you, is what
Yeah.
she just said. Teletubbies creeped you out. Everything I see about Teletubbies creeps me out, but it's all presented from a perspective of how wild it was. It's never the
yeah,
show.
yeah.
You know?
That's fair. I always used to, like, mix up my ice cream and make it into tubby custard.
Tubby custard?
Yeah, that's what they called it. They would eat this, like, pink custard, and I would mix my ice
They
cream.
ate that on the show?
Yeah.
Oh, and so you made your ice cream look at it.
Yeah.
Satorix says, hi guys, is there a medium that can be added to your gloss varnish to make it satin? If so, what ratio? So satin is just less gloss. So do you want to use the varnish by itself to achieve a satin clear coat? Is that what you're asking? Because if so, you can just kind of thin it with water a little bit, like 50-50 and start. It's not going to be as protective when you do that, but it will lessen the shine to thin it with water. If you're looking to
Well,
make
huzzah,
a pink
huzzah.
satin
Throw
by
back
mixing
my
the
legs
varnish
and
into it, just
pollute
mix
my
less
britches
varnish
with
into it.
delight.
But if you're using it for a clear coat, satin clear coat that will protect but no shine. So you want matte clear coat. No shine is matte. Some shine is satin. Lots of shine is gloss. We have a matte varnish coming out, but you can't turn a gloss into a non-shiny Some shine you can water it down, but always test it first, right? But if you thin it, but like I said, it won't be as protective. It will as you build it up, but you'll have to do like 2 or 3 layers of it, and then it gains some of the shine back. So it's always tough to go that direction. Your better bet would be to get a matte varnish and add some gloss varnish to that, or just strictly a satin varnish. There just aren't a whole lot of good satin varnishes.
Are we gonna come out with a satin varnish?
No. It's hard to control. It has a lot to do with humidity and paint mix and things like that. So satin is a tough one. You tend to get a lot of variability. So one day it'll look one way, and another day it'll look another, and another day it'll look another.
Gotcha.
So.
When does the matte come out?
3 months ago. ASAP.
Yeah.
We got to make sure it's right. It's one of those frustrating products that we got to get right.
Joe MN said, "Hi from Minnesota. Love the paint cup I won. Much appreciated. Did you get the stickers I sent you? Hope so."
Was that you? You made stickers for a streamer, I think. They're on my desk, so yes. I mean, if that's you, it has like a skeleton holding a bottle of bright warm gray, maybe. I haven't had a whole lot of time to pay attention to them. But we had a streamer contact us asking us if he could use that design on his stream because he had somebody make it for him. And we were like, oh. And then the next day they showed up. So I was like, I have not had time to reach back out to the streamer to say, is this the design you were talking? Because he sent me like the hand-drawn version of it. And I was like, oh, these are the exact same sticker. They're really cool, though.
He said yes.
Gotcha. Yeah, they're really cool. Neat design.
Slavic asked, is there a matte varnish on its way? Which has been a whole debacle.
What's that?
The matte varnish.
It's coming.
Yeah.
As soon as we get it right.
Yeah, the intention was to release it at the same time we released the gloss, but it didn't pass my final QC, so we couldn't do that.
Yeah.
But rather than hold the gloss up, we went ahead and released it. So.
Game delay, yes. I think so.
What's that?
Do I only have left-handed brushes, but I accidentally learned to paint backwards like a hobby nerd Jimi Hendrix?
Yes.
Sounds like it.
Yes, you'll be the hero to many.
Joe said the streamer has another design I made for him. He was very worried about stealing the IP/brand.
Oh.
I haven't seen these stickers.
When we gave him the okay to use the graphic, that was the graphic he showed us. There might be just a collision in communication there. How you doing over there?
I'm doing okay.
Taking a break?
Yeah, I'm just distracted.
Hmm?
I'm just distracted, so I'm not, like,
Because you're back.
feeling it.
Yeah, that sucks.
We should get Jen a comfy painting chair. One that won't hurt her
paint
back.
enough.
But you might paint more if it was comfy.
There's 2 people that paint in here already.
Jordan
I
would
don't
take a
need to-
break and sit in a comfy chair. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Raise your hand in chat if you would like a couple days a month where Jen painted with us.
I better see everybody's hands raised. Everybody's. See, Fireark said if she had a comfy chair, she might paint more.
That's the thing too, is that I don't paint sitting down, so
Yeah.
this
We've
isn't
painted
really
standing up for
working
so
for me.
long. Over the Black Friday, she really busted her back up from standing and fulfilling orders for so long.
Everybody's raising their hands, just for the record.
See?
Tubacan said, I thought the whole point of painting was to hunch over your painting desk like Gollum.
No.
That is bad for your back, actually.
Really bad for your back. I know it's what everybody does. We paint at standing desks. So Jen is sitting in a chair at the desk right now, but we have standing desks. And we don't sit at them very often, unless somebody's got a hurt back or fatigued or something like that. I don't ever sit when painting unless I'm at a convention and forced to because we can't bring our booth. If you've seen our booth at conventions, it's a standing height counter, what we call our hobby bar. And the whole goal of the hobby bar is it was built around me being able to stand up when I'm painting at shows. Because I just can't sit and paint. You roll your shoulders all forward, and it creates all sorts of bad back stress. It's just horrible.
Yeah. The whole point of painting is to keep your chiropractor in business.
This is also not true.
Well, that's what Chuck said, so.
You're doing it wrong, Chuck.
I've actually never been to a chiropractor.
Best thing in the world is a good chiropractor. Worst thing in the world is a bad one.
Only if you need it. If you don't need it, don't go to one.
That's
'Cause you will
true.
need it then forever.
That is true.
Yeah, I've had both. I've had really exceptional ones. Our local one is exceptional. So if you ever do need one, he's really, really good. But I've had bad ones. I've had one that while he was trying to adjust my back and not being able to get it to adjust, as he was had his knee planted on me, on my back, and was just horsing me around. I was in pain. I was hating it. And he's like, yeah, he goes, I was an accountant for 12 years. And I thought I needed a change. I was like, so how long have you been doing this? And he goes, 18 months.
What?
Yeah, he had just gotten his, he was an older guy, so, I was like, oh yeah, he's got to know what he's doing. He'd been doing it for 18 months.
That's so scary.
Yeah, he nearly put me in the hospital.
Wow.
I was lucky. I had a friend who had his brother did sports medicine for the Philadelphia Flyers, and so I would have to travel down to Philadelphia from where I was in Allentown at the time, and get adjusted by him. But he was a godsend. but he was like, "Have you had somebody working on you?" Because my muscles felt like Jen's poor back her muscles are always super tight.
Yeah.
Chuck says he was hit by a car as a kid, and the only thing that keeps me upright on my bike is a chiropractor.
Wow.
Okay, so Chuck, I have to ask, and no offense, but did you hit the car, or did the car hit you? Anytime I hear kid hit by car, I think kid running in street. Kid not looking both ways on bicycle.
Yeah.
That's what happened to my sister.
Oh.
She tells a story about how she got hit by a car. I was like, did you though? Or did you run the red light?
Game Delay said, I love happy hour at the hobby bar, but I don't drink alcohol or paint.
Wait a minute.
Game Delay is one of the few people in chat who has the right answer about eating paint.
Don't eat the paint.
Gonna be firing up your airbrush to prime a ton of minis. Anything you need to make sure of as you start doing that? I've got plastic bins to store everybody in to avoid dust after. Everybody, like your family. Don't put your family in plastic bins would be my first thing. Like when you say you're gonna put everybody in plastic bins, I worry. You're either talking about people around you or you're referring to your models as things that are alive, and that worries me equally as much. The biggest thing to remember when doing any kind of priming with an airbrush is that you typically don't want to fill more than about half of your cup, right? It's always hard to judge because generally the cups are not straight up and down. They're either, canted at a little bit of an angle, so it'll be level to ground, not level to the airbrush. So half full is, hard to judge sometimes because it'll look like it's more full in the back than the front. But about half a cup. No more than that. Spray that, give it a quick cleanse, just rinse some water through it. You don't have to rinse it until you get clear water. You just want to keep everything liquid through the chamber. So, you'll spray it until you're out of paint and then rinse it out with water real quick. Maybe wipe it out with a paper towel to get the crusties that will form around the edge here, because the top layer of paint where all the air is touching it will evaporate first and create a skin around the cup. So get that out of there, because over time that will flake off and drop down and then get caught in the airflow and spat out and clog the nozzle. So when you're priming a large amount of models, you just want to use less primer each fill. Once you've sprayed it out, clean it with some water, and then fill it up with primer again and start spraying again. So you'll probably, depending on the size of your army, it's not uncommon for me when I'm priming a lot of models to have to fill my primer cup 10 times. So think about that.
Chuck said, old lady driving with her grandkid in her lap swerved and hit me in the crosswalk.
Okay.
So, he did not go into
Swerved
the
and
street.
hit you in the crosswalk.
Yeah, that's a way to go.
Like, were you being mean to her? She's like, I get that one. That's 10 points.
We also talk about the fact that she was driving with a child on her lap.
Yeah, I think that's more the issue.
Chuck's our age, though, right?
Yeah.
Chuck, aren't you like our age?
Well, I think he's probably a little younger.
That was back in
but
the
that
time
was
when
the
people
thing.
drove with kids on their lap.
For sure. So
I rode in the laps of many adults when driving.
I did too.
I remember this.
You know what I did, and even my younger brother did, and he does it with his children.
Yeah, he does it with his kids.
Oh my gosh.
And people, and
He's posted online him doing it with
people
and people
ream him for it. And he's like,
absolutely
care.
blow him up, and he's like, I don't give a damn.
I do what I want.
My kid, I do what I want. She likes it.
But I totally did that. My grandpa would sit me on his lap and let me steer.
Oh yeah, let me steer the car. Heck yeah.
70s, lawless
Wild West.
times.
We built America. America was built on riding in Pappy's lap.
That's right.
Slavic asked if they can just put Pro Acryl Black straight in the paint cup.
Yep. I don't thin the primer. It says on the bottle, don't thin the primer. People, when they send us customer service issues saying, hey, your primer clogs my airbrush, I'm like, clean your airbrush. Our primer won't clog a clean airbrush. So you may have to soak your nozzle if you get a lot of stoppages while you're spraying. You can put like maybe a drop of water in there to help out if you're in like an ultra dry, cold climate during winter, but you don't want to thin the primer if you can avoid it. It keeps it from being as strong as it needs to be to perform its job.
Paint Liquor said, I always think my minis turn alive at night like Toy Story. Kind of fun.
Just using burnt red over the dark purple right now, and I'm doing it in thin layers, one after the other, just to build up the brightness of the, burnt red is not a bright color, admittedly, but if you layer it up, you will get a lot of variation in its value, like you're seeing. So I'm being able to keep a shadow with where it lays over the dark purple down on this end, and then build it up to be brighter over on that end. That makes putting our next layer of bold pyro red on a lot easier. And then on the shadowed side, we don't have to do much at all. Just make sure it looks like it's red and not purple. But most of the purple shadow can stay. You just want to get it to that balance point to where it doesn't look like it is dead purple on the bottom. Just dark red. Our burnt red to pyro red mix is fantastic. It'll get you a tremendous red, and then you can use a base color to kind of direct if you want that to be a really warm red or a cooler red. I want a little bit cooler red feel on this because that'll make it feel like it's a little bit more dirtier and scuffed up than if I were to use mahogany or orange or something like that. So the purple does that for me. Pyro red.
The red was definitely a good call. I like the
I think
color
it's the right
combo.
choice. Your environment is really dry. So is ours. And I never thin my primer. I mean, we're in Arizona. What is our highest humidity here in normal times? 18? 20?
Yeah, maybe
Normally,
not
yeah,
even.
Very, very low.
Like 18 or 20%
Yeah.
relative humidity?
It's super
That's
low.
nothing, right? That's like, I think you have to have that as a human to live, but before your skin flakes off.
18% right now.
18% right now. Nailed it. So, it doesn't get much drier than here. Unless you're out in the wind.
Yeah.
You know.
Painting on a very windy day.
So yeah, you don't have to, and you don't want to add, anything. You can, and you can try it. Just realize that as you thin primer, it becomes less and less durable because it becomes more and more just paint. So, if you thin it, make sure you keep your hands off of it for longer while it dries, things like that. But if it helps you to spray it, do it.
It'll come off like this. This is primer on the.
Yeah, you'll see
base,
like
and I
along the
just
base
hold
of
it
all of
around
our
the
models,
base.
because
It
we
just
grab and
rubs right
hold it,
off.
you'll knock paint off of it.
Dodge Howell, thank you for the subscription. Is this the last detail you have to do, Jason?
Oh no, I still got to paint all the concrete.
Oh, okay.
I'm not going to get done today. I was hoping to. I'll have to finish them over the weekend.
Do you
It's always,
usually like leave one thing to do at the end that you're like, this is gonna be like the satisfying
No.
last touch?
No, it's funny. My miniatures finish with a whimper because I have always taught that and practice that you want to bring the whole model up in concert, because the only way you can get a good visual feel of what the model looks like and how happy you are with all of your work is to be able to take those snapshots along the way that are all cohesive. So if you just do the green skin and everything else is black primer, how can you tell if the green skin is the way you want it?
Right.
Because like you saw on your model when you painted the other day, you're painting this color, but you have so much black showing that
Yeah.
it makes the color look brighter than it really is.
Right.
Because the eye adjusts to the contrast it's presented with, right? So if you're painting on top of white primer, every color you put on looks darker than it really is. Because the white spots are the brightest thing the eye sees and everything else goes down from there.
Right.
So until you cover up all that white with another color that it's supposed to be, you don't get a good feel for how it looks. Same thing with black. Everything looks brighter than it may really be, because the green skin, I might dial it in, get the highlights done, but everything else is black primer. I'm like, looks perfect. And then you put purple pants on him, and then the purple pants wind up being that you have to keep them so dark or before they overtake the skin that you don't get the details out of them. Or you paint the details on them, and now the green skin looks too dark. So I'm always painting, I'll do base coats, mid-tone, and maybe a first layer highlight on the skin. Then I'll do base coats, mid-tone, first layer highlight on the pants. And this is a bad model as an example, because there's literally two things. There's skin and pants, right? But with a model like Captain America that we just did, I started by doing the model to get the layer of blue down. Then we did some of the white, then we did some of the skin, then we did some of the red, and then I started doing the highlights on all of those colors until I finally got to where the white was kind of the last thing to dial in, because it's the brightest thing the eye will see. And so I leave it unhighlighted until the end, because sometimes you don't have to highlight your white,
Right.
because it's already so bright,
Yeah.
But I did wind up going back and outlining, like, doing a little bit edge highlight on the A and stuff like that, and a little bit on the shield and such, to get it to where it balanced out so that your contrast looks kind of dialed in.
Yeah.
But if you don't do that, then you risk, having to go back and rework other parts you thought were done. And even though you may not save yourself any time, at the end of it, you might say, "Oh, I spent the same amount of time on this model," no matter how you did it. The problem is that there's a psychology of how you paint. That if you thought a thing was finished and then you get 75% done with something else and you have to go back and change what you thought was finished, chances are you're going to lose a lot of momentum on that model. So part of it is the psychology of artwork, is that don't ever put yourself in a position where you call something done until you're ready and know that it's done.
Gotcha.
Make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. So going back, it's like, my Gorgers, right? They kind of just go out with a whimper. I still have some things I have to do, But when they get done, it'll just be because I touch something and I look at the model and I'm like, oh, I guess that's it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Because I have brought everything up in that kind of balancing stage to where there's not one left, you know.
Right.
But that's what I do on mine too. Is like I'm painting on everything
Yeah.
a little bit, and then going back in and painting more on everything, and
Yeah.
then go back and paint more on everything. And Jabe, I think the answer is probably yes.
Yes, definitely.
What?
Because that means I get to
What?
I get to go sit down. Oh, in a minute I'll go sit down.
Wow, he didn't even wait for Gabe to bring him stuff.
He didn't leave me.
Wow, he just kept Jason's fun new things from him.
Totally.
He just hid them away from you.
Go sit in the.
Yeah, go get the comfy chair.
You can hit the. Is it Jason's name maybe?
Oh, he's got
I did it.
Yeah. Do you want to zoom out from your model?
I'm always like, you get so used to not showing people your address, but it's like our address is literally on the internet. So.
Yeah.
Our house.
No, I know. I'm just trained. You don't show that stuff. Holy well, Pat. Oh my God. I'm nerding out right now. I am having a very amazing nerd moment. I don't know where to put this. It's going to get paint all over the box. It's going to go right there. Right, chat. If you don't like Star Trek, cover your ears. You're a grown man squee. Ooh, that's nice.
Starship Enterprise.
No, it's not the Starship Enterprise. This is a no-name war destroyer.
Isn't that what the Starship Enterprise looks like, though?
They all kind of look the same because they all
Okay.
have the saucer.
Yeah, they look like a plate.
This is a war destroyer, and this is about 2 inches long, and these are the small ones. So, got another war destroyer in there. Let's find a big one. Where's the big one? Ooh, there one.
Telemachus said Star Trek. I love Chewbacca. Well, that's a terrible. Lounged and rubbing my back.
Gabe yelled at me.
There you go.
Ooh. Wow, those are really good. They have a little bit of print layering to them, but not bad. They're really waxy. I gotta wash them. Or Shapeways is like one of the worst. Oh yeah, it's like sticky. A little bit of texture to them. This was like the super fine one too, but it's a little textured, so that's a little bit of a bummer, but we'll make it work. Our primer will make it work. But yeah, that's a battle cruiser. The flat pylons. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. It's a big one. Where's the dreadnought? Ooh. Toys! This hurt your soul? Your favorite Star Trek moment is when Gandalf told Captain Mal to fire on the Death Star to stop the Daleks from attacking kids studying at Hogwarts. I missed that episode. I just love that these are all the old designs. That's a good one right there. Maybe a D7. I don't know them by looking at them. I'm not that nerdy. Klingon battlecruiser.
So these are all for your Star Trek game?
Yeah, this is all for all of those games. They're all kind of the... Well, I guess I should put these back in like the thing that came out of. What is this anyway? So I remember what they are. Yeah, I guess this is the only way I know what it is. I'm excited. Now I just got to make sure I have flight stands that work for all of them and all that kind of crazy crap.
Chuck said, and here's me thinking I'd already gotten myself a box of models for Christmas. Are you finding that you need more now, Chuck?
I mean, trying to find the Enterprise.
Paint Liquor wants to know if,
There you go.
if you have a, sorry, my eyes are really bad, Romulan Warbird?
There you go, Jen.
Oh, is that the Enterprise?
That is the Constitution class, which is the Enterprise.
Show me how that's different than the other one.
Oh, it's very different.
They're very different.
It's a little different.
They're very different, ma'am. I'll have you know.
Do you have a Romulan Warbird?
I didn't get any Romulans. Couldn't afford it.
Do they make a, what is that word?
Did they make what?
Thor's paws. Is it
Oh.
VG or vigor model? I can't. My eyes are bad too.
No,
Jeez,
that's-
I'm like falling apart.
No, that's exactly what it says, and
Okay.
I don't know what it is.
Okay. Is the V a 5? 5ger?
Hmm.
Probably not.
What am I looking at?
Thor's paws.
Let me know.
Thor's paw.
Right under Paint Liquor's Romulan Warbird
where's my
question.
mouse?
Did they make a V'ger model? I don't know. Not in the game, probably.
Oh, Voyager.
Yeah, it's Voyager.
Oh,
It's
Voyager.
from the Star Trek, the original
That's
Star
not
Trek
how
movie.
you spell. I mean,
It's a big damn model. Not gonna lie.
it's pronounced V'ger. Maybe put a hyphen in there.
That's pretty good. They the games at this level don't have I don't think have rights and license to the board, unfortunately. Because the that's all the Paramount stuff that comes from the movies. I think that this only goes up to a particular part in the timeline where they have the rights for these ships. So that's why they're all the old hulls. You don't have like the new looking Klingon stuff and all the more modern stuff, which is fine because this is the stuff that I love, is the old kitschy style. Look at that. That's what I wanted.
What makes this one?
This is a dreadnought.
They're all variations.
They're all.
They're all very different,
They're
Jennifer.
they're part of the
Same.
same fleet, though. It's got to look cohesive, right?
They're all very different, Jennifer.
Oof.
Use
Be
your full name.
Be serious. Uses the full name.
Serious around here.
He's very defensive about his Star Trek models.
Ah, seriously.
Oh, I don't care. Somewhere in here, though, there's supposed to be thing on birds of prey. I got some birds of prey that are not from the original series stuff. There was another person on Shapeways that actually had birds of prey that you could use at this scale, but I'm not, for some reason. Did they jack me around? Did I not get my stuff? Is that how this is gonna go, Shapeways?
Got a packing slip in there?
Yeah.
They're not dolls, they're action figures.
They're action figures. F5, War Destroyer, Light Cruiser, Heavy Battle Cruiser, Refitted Battle Cruiser, Refitted Dreadnought, D7, Command Cruiser, Fast Battle Cruiser. Maybe I didn't order them? Well, that sucks. Oh no, there's more stuff that's not on here. They shorted me, chat. Unless I'm having a real hard time seeing through bubble wrap.
That's entirely possible.
I've been robbed. I'll count them after. I have a lot of toys here. There's the F5s. Yeah, this packing list does not have all the stuff on it.
Slavic. Happy New Year.
So there might be stuff on the way.
Do you get to say Happy New Year before New Year? Or
No.
do you have to wait till after? It's not the New Year yet?
I think you have to say wait till after, right?
Yeah.
Well, I hope you enjoy your New Year's Eve.
Yeah. You say, hope you have a
Your
good
New
time
Year's
this
day,
week.
and we'll see you on the 2nd.
We'll
Yeah,
tell you.
good
We'll
time.
tell you Happy New Year
I'll
after.
tell you Happy New Year. I take it back.
Yeah.
I take back my I retract my Happy New Year.
Game Delay said Jen probably thinks TIE fighters, interceptors, and bombers look the same too. Can't say.
Probably.
Yeah.
She thinks those are all made up words, so that's even.
Are.
So the Firestorm Armada
I do know what a
ship.
TIE fighter is, though.
This is a
from Star
Firestorm
Wars,
Armada
right?
dreadnought.
Yeah, it is from Star Wars.
Okay.
So a little bit of a scale difference, but I ain't mad at it. That's pretty fun. That'll be pretty groovy.
They do look the same? Okay.
Yeah.
They don't look the same, people.
No, he's talking about the Star
The
Wars
Star
ones.
Wars stuff.
Oh. All right. So now the question is how I'm gonna. I guess I gotta just drill them out so they fit these. I'm excited.
Because I had to alert Jason. I had to show him your picture on Discord.
What was the picture?
Telemachus's Discord picture.
Oh yeah, of me licking the bag.
Yes.
Tell you can quit stalking me now.
He was very confused about how you got it. Tried to blame Gabe.
Yeah.
And Gabe proved that it was in fact Jason that
Yeah.
put the picture up.
Jason
No, he
just-
didn't prove anything. He's a lying liar who
No,
lied. He
Jason,
took a picture of his own
definitely
camera
did.
and then blamed it on me. I don't know how the hell that happened. And then he posted it under my account. Rat bastard. I don't know how he does this stuff. It's not fair. And then I get blamed for all of it.
Oh, I gotta go look.
Yeah, it is 3:59.
359.
I think they'll be fine.
I think they'll be.
You get to say Happy New Year for exactly 1 minute at midnight, January 1st. That's it.
Them's the rules.
Yeah. I don't
I'm
think
just a
I
messenger.
I don't say Happy New Year any other time than that.
I'm just a messenger. Don't kill me. Can't just have it be a free for all where people can be wishing other people a Happy New Year like 365 days a year.
Yeah.
That's not right. Gotta be rules, folks.
Yeah.
Otherwise, society becomes unhinged.
I'd be a little weirded out if someone wished me a Happy New Year in the middle of June.
Society just gets unhinged. All right. Thank you for allowing me to nerd out and show you my Star Trek stuff. I'm very excited.
It's very exciting. Do you already know what you want to do with them? Like painting
You know, I
wise?
don't. Spaceships really I struggle with
Hmm.
because they are very, very basic and that you can't do a whole lot with them all the time, right?
Yeah.
Because they're not going to have like huge racing stripes all the time. I mean, some of them. But there's just not a lot of coloring, so most of it takes me back to like scale modeling. You're thinking about how to weather them and make them look used at that scale. You gotta understand, I think this particular model is supposed to hold over 1,000, like maybe 1,200 people in it.
Yeah.
So at that scale, you have to start trying to relate to what it would look like, because this would be, I don't know, 1 kilometer long
Mhm.
or 600 meters long or something like that.
Right.
So they become a little difficult to figure out how to do it, because you can't just do it like a regular miniature, because then the dirt streaks are like football fields.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense. So same thing with like Battletech. Battletech is at a different scale. Those mechs are very large.
Mm.
So you have to scale all of your weathering down
I gotcha.
and do more of it, but the model's still the same size. So they become a little bit harder to get your scheme. The color scheme itself is easy because it'll just be some sort of bluish gray.
Mhm.
I think they used duck egg blue for the original series ships. I won't be doing that, but
Chuck said Pink Enterprise.
not happening.
I think that's the idea of the year.
What's good? There's only one day left in the year.
there's more than one day left in the year.
There's a couple days left in the year. But by the time I paint those, well, that won't be the thing of the year anymore. Thank goodness.
Be bold, be brave, he says.
Oh, don't throw that into it. Don't call me chicken.
I think he's got a point, though.
That kind of pressure isn't allowed here.
Pink Enterprise? Imagine just all the fluorescents are the colors of your ships.
That kind of peer pressure is not allowed here, folks.
I think
People paint their own way, at their own pace,
I think it's a great
and
idea.
don't have to use pink.
Game Delay said, go where no Enterprise has gone before, Jason. Give the people what they want.
So I have been watching... I'm ignoring you people. So I have been watching Strange New Worlds. And it's funny to watch a series go from great to mediocre to horrible, to great to mediocre to horrible. But then I think about it and I'm like, isn't that what Star Trek has always done? Isn't that kind of the thing? So I feel like it's a good Star Trek show because it does exactly what you expect from Star Trek. Mm-hmm. It has great episodes, and then it's like, am I even watching the same show? Are these the same actors? Who wrote this? The problem is they have so many different writers for these shows. And it's just, you get such different there's like different directors sometimes. It's like, just stick with one and go for it. Like, what is this? Why am I being fed this nonsense? Plus, it's also a little disturbing because there's really no ship in it. And I think I'm realizing, I had read some comments about Strange New Worlds before I dug into really watching it, listen to some reviews and stuff, and people are like, it's a bummer because there is some good stuff in it, but it's not about the ship, it's about the crew and that stuff. And so it's more of a soap opera, that happens aboard a ship as opposed to being a soap opera about a ship. Mm. And I was like, I don't know that I really care about that. Then you start watching it and you're like, I do care about that. Like, I would like to know that we're in space some of the time and not just have stars and nebula out the window.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit of a bummer. But I really like the Captain Pike in it. The guy who plays him is cool. The character is cool.
It is 4:04. I don't know what your plan is.
You need to get out? You can go.
I do need to go.
Then you can go.
All right.
Get out of here. Have a wonderful weekend.
It was super fun streaming. And hopefully I'll get to produce more in the future, but it's great chatting with all you people. And Jason, I'm going to make sure that you put this tutu on the Hulk.
Oh, come over here before you leave, dang it.
Okay.
Let everybody take their screenshot and make fun of me later. She's not gone yet. She has to do this.
Not yet.
Anson Mount, is that the guy that plays Riker? Or not Riker, Pike? I don't know any actors' names, so that's not the world I revolve in.
I made the ribbons extra long so that you can actually tie
Ribbons?
it. Uh-huh.
Nobody puts ribbons on a tutu.
You have to be able to tie it. I hope it's not too big. That's my only fear now. Maybe it's perfect.
It's like a doily or something.
I think it's too big, dang it.
It's a little big.
Gabe,
laugh it up, fuzzball.
Oh, it's so pretty.
It's not really.
Look at him.
It's not really. This is horrible. I don't even know why humans would do this. This is why I have so little faith in this race. This species of ours.
Yeah. It's a little big, but
huge.
I think it adds to it.
Here we go.
That's exactly what he needed.
I think that's what he was missing.
It's much better now.
Now he's really dancing.
Although you can't really see, you gotta lift it up a little bit so you can see his feet.
I gotta make him another one. Is what I'm hearing.
Oh no!
This is the prototype.
No, don't push yourself or anything.
Ooh, that's perfect.
Oh, there you go. There you go. Yeah.
Yes.
Now it's definitely the twirl.
Oh, that's gorgeous.
Yeah. That's what it needed right there.
I love it.
He's happy about it too.
This is one of the best things I've ever made. I want you to know. And it took me an hour and $7. All right, well. Happy New Year. Enjoy
Excellent.
your tutu.
Yeah.
Goodbye, everybody.
Shelby, have a wonderful New Year. We'll see
Bye,
you on
Shelby.
Tuesday. Oh my God, chat.
There's an upskirt no one thought they would see.
This is what I have to deal with here, chat. This needs to be the con display model now.
Beautiful.
Hopefully Gabe is, well, we can just take, I will hold it still. And we will send this to AMG and say we're so happy to be working with you. Thanks. So she did. She said it took her an hour and $7. Okay, that is never to be seen again. And hide that where Jen doesn't see it.
Gonna go on the one I make. Between this and nerding on Star Trek, we get Jason's whole emotional range.
Yeah, this has been a tough day for me. I'm gonna sleep well tonight. Been a lot of sharing going on here today. Tell says, see, my Discord pick ain't so bad, is it? Well, it depends. Did you make it this now? Because yes. Justice for Hulk.
Yes, I hope you all took screenshots and kept this evidence. Just when everyone starts to forget, you just post it again.
No parking on the dance floor. All right, that's pretty good, actually. That's pretty good. All right.
Are you painting more? Or are you?
I guess we're done for the year.
All right, I'm gonna go over and do the things.
This sounds so bad to have to say, right?
No, it's fun.
Like it feels sad, chat, that we're putting another year in the books. We've had literally an amazing 2023. We've seen our community grow like by leaps and bounds. Holy hell. Tons more people joining the Monument family, trying our paints, trying our products, having fun on the stream, in our Discord, the whole name. We've painted a bajillion models, it feels like. We welcomed Jordan aboard this year. A minimum of like 9 or 10 people came on board this year. Shelby, Gabe, Jordan, Maddie 1, Maddie 2, Shannon, James, William, Paul. So 9. Matt. 10 people. I put William in there. 10 people joined the Monument family here at HQ this year. Most of whom you've seen wander through the stream once or twice. Also got abandoned by Baby J. Yes, we realize this. Thanks. Yeah, we closed out 2023 with Hulk wearing a tutu, so that's a pretty big one. I feel like that's pretty big. Pretty good way to end the year. Not too shabby. We finished with a big we're Hulk smash out of 2023. I've had a blast. I got to tell you, and this is not just sappy nonsense, chat. Every year around here, as we continue to do this, I have a ton of people that ask me, "How often do you do this stream thing?" And I'm like, "We do it 2 hours a day, 5 days a week. We used to do it more." And they're like, "That. How do you do that?" I'm like, "It's not even a question of how. It's what I love to do, right? I love coming in here and paint with you guys. I know Jordan loves coming in here and paint with you guys. I know Jen loves coming in and spending time with you guys. From our family to yours, it's just great having you around. So thank you so much for supporting the company. Thank you so much for supporting our nonsense here live on stream. Thanks so much for asking the questions that you do. We're always loving the fact that we get to help people, find new ways to paint, find new energy to begin painting. That's the biggest thing for us. So thanks for taking part in the community. Continue to tell all of your family and friends to come in and join in with the good times. They might find a hobby they enjoy as well. We've had an amazing year. I hope you have as well. If you have had a less than favorable 2023, I hope there's a good side to 2024 coming. We're going to have more happening. I'm going to make you cry, T. Schmidt. You should cry.
Look, game delay though. Jay hasn't left us forever chat. He'll be back, and we will shun him.
Oh, I'm sure the first few days back for Baby J are going to be painful, and I implore you to do so. Lumberjack Tim was a grump, and now he's getting better.
Yep. Here, Tim.
Game Delay says, thanks for welcoming us new people this year, every year. We've been doing this coming up on 8 years, gang, and for that 8 years, this has been the most solid group of hobbyists and friends that I have ever seen gravitate together on the internet. It's just been fantastic. So if you are new around here, stick around. We got lots more coming. It's going to be a ton of fun. For those of you that have been here for a long time, you're insane. We love you. Keep on being insane. But thank everybody. Have a wonderful, safe weekend. No matter what you do, if you stay home and safe like we will, we're locking the doors and keeping the baddies out. Or if you go out and do the craziness, be safe.
Be safe. Let us know in Discord that you survived. You know, just give a check-in on Monday, like Happy New Year, just so we know.
Yes.
Because we worry.
Yep. But thank you guys. Have a wonderful weekend. Stick around. We are going to do the same raid we always do. I think Kenny is actually streaming today.
I see Kenny on here right now.
So I thought he did the year ender, but he's back. So that's awesome. So we got one last day finishing out with Kenny.
His stream title, I got a part-time job at Circle K.
Well, Florida Man is back.
I assume you'll get some good stories to wrap up the year with Kenny.
Florida Man is back.
Hang tight.
Stay tuned. Show some love to Kenny when we get over there. But have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. Stay tuned on the Discord. Join all the links. We'll talk to you. Wish you Happy New Year's on the Discord. And we'll see you back here on Tuesday. Adios, gang.
Bye, everyone.
We'll see you next year.